trying to close it out in 2 games. As again, not quite at the 0-second mark, but good enough. Okay. So, looks like Ima Hero sticking with that teleport Jarvan. And this time, Super Awesome does get to play Ezreal. He has been playing a lot of Ezreal whenever he's had the opportunity. And Soul Seizure's on that rise. That is his best mid champion by far. So we'll see how that compares to his Xerath game earlier.
I'll drink you under the table.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
And it looks like this time there will be no cheeky invades. The LoLdo faction just setting up that standard 5-man football line, covering all the general entrances areas that you would want to walk towards to get deep wards. So, and it looks like Ima Hero is basically doing the same thing. Not really interested in trying to get extra wards out. Well, actually, no. Jarvan is moving in. Gets spotted out by Ryze. The general immediately moving in that general direction. General direction. But anyway. Because of the new spawn times, blue side does not get the advantage that it used to have with the free double golem experience. So yeah, it looks like they'll be just heading to lane straight away. They will get a little bit of an experience advantage in the sense that because the purple side usually helps pull the Elder Golem for the jungler, they will be the later one to lane. So they will still have an opportunity to get some early CS down. And oh, it looks like the general will find himself a J4 in the jungle. J4 getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar right there. The red buff still very healthy, but because of the time that the general spent doing the blue, he will be at a lower health, but he does win the smite war. So Jarvan's like, okay, I'm out of here.
First blood.
And whoa, I actually kind of missed that because the camera was on Zach, but Ryze feeds first blood, runs right into Gragas and Jarvan, so. And the general typing in chat that Soul Seizures is 5 for 6. He has fed first blood 5 out of their 6 games. So that is not a statistic you want to have. Random Taric stun, nothing will come from that. A lot of times you could tell how good a Taric support is based on when they use their dazzle to get the stun off. Random stuns are not going to win you the lane. Good harass coming down from Sato. Taric is a melee and Thresh is a range, so that is going to be very, very difficult for Taric to be able to trade harass successfully. That and with that built-up passive on Thresh. It's a lot of damage, but as we see J4 coming in, that teleport again, same thing happened in the first game, but this time there will be no kill. So the teleport now is down for J4. Ganked unsuccessful. All they managed to burn off of that was Thresh's flash. Caitlyn still has both of her summoners. So that's not bad at all, considering that J4 wasted his time down there. Oh, the hook lands! But the general was too far away. Unfortunate. If he had Eden as soon as he got hooked, that probably would have been a kill back. Okay, so with the craziness kind of resetting itself, we already see that the bot lane has already a 15 CS advantage. Caitlyn, despite getting to lane later, has managed to out CS super awesome in the early going. Coming back with a Mana Crystal and a Fairy Charm. I guess he's building towards that blue build, but those aren't exactly the items that I would want to come back with on Ezreal. I would have liked to have seen him pick up a longsword, if anything. But in the meantime, we see J4 showing himself mid, going on his merry way. Zac also poking around mid for a little bit, but I don't think anything will come from that. J4, very aggressive though. Still wants himself a piece of that Zac jungle, stealing the Wraiths away. And they do have a very deep ward in the Wraith bush, so... And it looks like J4 has left a little bit of something left for Zac. Because of the way that the camps respawn now, taking the whole camp isn't really worth it, because by the time the jungler comes back, the camp will probably be back up anyway. So it's better to just leave one little minion or jungle creep left to make sure that they lose as much as possible. As we see that Renekton having a very hard time keeping himself sustained. He is out of health potions. Kind of a random Gragas ulti. Probably wanted to knock him a little bit more back towards himself, but excuse me. But he went the wrong direction. But yeah, Sneaky doing a very good job again, keeping pressure in the top lane. Has Renekton pinned under his tower. If he can just take the tower, that will be enough. He doesn't really need to get any kills. CS is about even-ish, but yeah, if he can get the tower, that would be huge. And yeah, we can see that that first blood has really caused Soul Seizures to play passively. He is down 51 CS to 35. So, despite having his favorite champion, laning phase still quite rough. Nice headshot. Another random Taric stun. Nothing will really come from that. Taric stun does do more damage the closer he is to his target. So those max range stuns aren't really going to be doing much. As we see Gragas trying to come up to do something. He does have the blue buff, but I don't think Kennen's really going to kill. So that's just wasted time for Gragas. We saw Jarvan coming around potentially thinking about a dive, but yeah, in the end they're just going to call that off. And that's just giving Soul Siegers all the time in the world to push and farm up mid. As we see bottom lane continuing to get bullied by the Thresh Cake combo. They have not yet found an answer for it. As the CS lead continues to balloon now to about 30 CS. Nice ulti coming down for Gragas. The health regen won't be enough, unfortunately, that heal debuff. So they will trade kill for a kill assist. But yeah, still, Soul Sieger's still struggling very, very much. Just now gets his Tear of the Goddess. Still no boots. Gragas already double Doran's rings and Sork shoes. When someone gets double Doran's rings on an AP carry, you are usually telling your opponent, I'm coming back to lane and I'm going to destroy you. I am just going to power spike myself as much as possible early with the gold that I have, and I'm just going to run over you again and again and again. I'm not looking to just passively farm. Oh, okay, so Soul Siegers was also able to pick up his Catalyst. That's also a very big item for Ryze. As we see Demacia. Whoa, J4, you are not as strong as you were in the first game, sir. You are not as strong. So J4 feeding a free kill right there and using his ultimate. The Let's Bounce did get burned as well, but yeah, that's definitely not worth. So that gives the LoLdo faction a slight power play. The general could have gone to counter jungle perhaps, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. As Kennen quickly getting a little bit of harass back. He's going to have to back up a little bit to clear that wave. And again, these stuns. Ezreal's not really in position to follow those up, so it's kind of just a waste. Ezreal right now should be more preoccupied with getting as many creeps as possible because the CS lead is now about 47 to 83. Caitlyn's still consistently doubling the CS. As we see J4 going in, he does not have Cataclysm, and he doesn't even have Flash because he took Teleport, so that's not really of any threat to the bottom lane, as he will circle back to patrol his jungle. Taking a look at the CS though, the General doing a much better job of farming out Jarvan. Plus the missed opportunities and ganks has really cost him a lot of time. Unfortunately, the barrier does save Ezreal's life. It ate the Piltover Peacemaker for him, so he will walk away from that. And we see the Lantern coming out. Gragas ulti misses, and he is so he will have to back off as he does start backing. And bot lane is almost about taken, I think. J4 camping bot lane super hard though, does not want to let that happen. Does not want to allow them to have the opportunity to roam. And Cataclysm will be up shortly. It is up just now, so they don't want to get too close to him, I think. And it looks like in the top lane, Renekton's doing a good job holding his lead, 93 to 86. But both top laners seem to be doing pretty fine. Kind of in their own little bubble right now, not really concerned about the rest of the map. Sneaky doing a good job of keeping his health high. Renekton's getting a little bit close to half, but he does have his ultimate. And he does have a double rejuve bead, so that's not too much of a problem. Another stun comes out, does Nathan's hot dogs to Caitlyn, and a little Lantern, zoop, and he's out of there. As Renekton getting a little tired of waiting, says Jarvan, get up here. But the teleport was wasted. So yeah, another teleport that did not net itself a kill. The LoLdo faction doing a very good job of adapting to the teleport shenanigans. Very prepared for it this time. Able to get out without any kills. So we see Zac soaking up some much needed experience and gold in the bottom lane while the bot lane comes back. We'll see if they decide to turn on it. They know that J4's teleport is down, so there's no chance of a 3v3. And Taric is most likely going to go down. He has no tower to run to. Kind of a derpy Piltover Peacemaker right there, but a kill is still secured right there, and it does go to Caitlyn. Having himself a much better game. Getting very, very strong. Almost has that Infinity Edge completed. And yeah, that is going to be a call for the Baron as they clear that out real nice and fast. They should be able to get this down pretty fast. They need to watch out for Gragas ulti. The Gragas ulti might steal it if they're not careful. And there it is. Purple team has slain the dragon. Oh, Jarvan has no flash. He is so dead right now. He has no flash, and he used his EQ combo to get into the pit. So again, the drawbacks of not taking flash, huge right there. He basically suicided himself for something that was not really worth the risk, in my opinion. So yeah, Ima Hero not really able to get rolling like they did in the first game. Nice hook coming down, Rise Snare. Oh, actually the snare didn't go off, but it doesn't matter. And a flash burned as well. So yeah, the LoLdo faction really taking it to Ima Hero. Really wanting to prove that that first game, early game was a fluke. And that they just want to make sure that it doesn't even get to that point. Shoving on this mid tower. So Ima Hero's really going to have to collect themselves, think about what's happening. Not getting so overly zealous. They are not as strong as they were in the previous game. That is for certain. Looking at the gold lead now, about a 4k gold lead in favor of the LoLdo faction. Pretty solid, I think. As well as getting that first dragon and the first tower. Mid turret looks like it's next on the agenda for the LoLdo faction. And again, Sneaky doing a really good job just keeping the lane pushed up. Recognizes that his team is ahead. So he can play up quite liberally. And if anyone does come to get him, he does have his flash, plus his little crack ball. to run away. Oh wow, as you see the Tiamat active getting popped right there. Some big cleaves going on right there. And yeah, the ward will spot out Jarvan. Demacia is most likely coming, yes! Yeah, and immediately flashed out. So, Sneaky didn't panic right there. He did have to blow his flash, but again, Jarvan roaming without getting a kill, so essentially that's worth. And a free red buff going over to the general. So that's also more gold and experience going in the opposite direction of Jarvan. As we see the CS right now, top lane has more or less evened itself out. The junglers, slight advantage to Zac because of all the he's been picking his spots pretty well, I think. The CS in mid, still in the favor of Gragas, but the scores are now kind of even now. Ryze does have 2 assists, so overall I'd say they're pretty close. But the big story is in the bottom lane. Caitlyn, being the lane bully that she is, up 137 to 73. Plus a tower, has an Infinity Edge on lock, plus the Berserker's Greaves. She is going to be very scary. And it looks like the LoLdo faction wants to push the issue on this tower. They do have 2 mid. Ezreal is forced to just sit bottom and try to catch up. He does not have any major items completed and is very much behind. Sato getting a little too close to Renekton, but not going to matter. Bad Gragas ulti, doesn't catch anybody, and he's going to have to retreat. And meanwhile, Ezreal is still pushing bottom, so it's a 3v2 in the mid. And they're just, you know, kind of juking in and out, getting their hits where they can. And yeah, that turret took quite a bit more damage. And this top turret's done. So yeah, things continuing to go south for Ima Hero. They just can't catch a break. Gragas hasn't really landed any key ultis yet, which I think is important in them getting any momentum back. Gragas needs to like catch somebody with an ulti. 2 big whiffs so far, so we'll see if he can land the ultis that he needs very soon. Looking at the items, Soul Seizure's finishing up his Rod of Ages, so that's very good for him. Kennen working towards that Hourglass. He's going to sit on that Haunting Guise probably for a bit. And we'll see what kind of boots he builds into. Might build Sork shoes. We shall see. And the General finishing off that Locket of the Iron Solari. Plus sitting on the Spirit Stone. No idea what he's going to build into that yet. Most likely the Ancient Golem. And Jarvan again going with the Wriggles Lantern. Not a very popular jungle item these days. So we'll see how that works out for him. Other than that, he does not have a whole lot of items. Not as tanky as he was in the previous game. Ezreal just finishing up his Spirit of the Lizard Elder. He had pretty much already committed himself to the build with the items that he had bought beforehand, building all the pieces. So it's good that he finished it, but that's still not going to give him nearly enough power to match Caitlyn's damage output at the moment. And we see that a red sight stone for Thresh versus the blue for Taric, so he's going to have to finish that up. And level 1 boots for Sniper Worm as well. So he's going to be in a really good spot at this point in the game. Just passing the 19-minute mark, this is Game 2 between Ima Hero and the LoLdo faction. LoLdo faction and Ima Hero had a very close Game 1. It basically came down to the next, like, whoever had the better team fight would win the game. But now it looks like the LoLdo faction really want to put an exclamation point on this set and shut out Ima Hero and not giving them any chance to recover themselves. As the dragon has respawned for the second time, Ima Hero's in no position to challenge this. The jungler's not even there. Taric's going to go check it out, but he's not going to be able to do anything to threaten stealing it. And that will indeed go to the LoLdo faction. The Threshold barely missing as they chase Taric off. Gragas getting cut out a little bit, but he just eased over the wall, no problem. Up in the top lane, Sneaky Deebs continuing just to exist as a split pusher. Not even really needed in the fights at the moment. So gets some really nice harass down on Renekton as he punishes him for going for the creeps. Not that Renekton had much of a choice. Ezreal, True Shot Barrage will go down to clear the bottom lane, try to buy them a little more time. But time is indeed running out as the gold lead has increased to 23.8 to 30.9. At this point, the LoLdo faction might want to consider grouping. Oh my goodness, there's that Soul Seizures damage that is so painful. Kennen will go down right there, gets 1v1 by Renekton. So that is unfortunate. That's gonna give Renekton some time to catch himself, I think. But Taric, what are you doing? Not a good place to be standing. LoLdo faction really abusing their high damage output. And they essentially aced them. I mean, Ezreal died earlier and the death timers are so short, but that is effectively an ace. And yeah, they're just gonna help themselves to this tower. So the score is now 3-11, almost a 10k gold lead. LoLdo faction really getting into their form now, playing much better. And Ima Hero just doesn't have an answer to it. They did not respect the dive, did not respect the gold difference, and LoLdo faction's like, this is exactly how much ahead we are, and just dove them without caring. I'm not even sure if Zach's passive got popped in that exchange. As Caitlyn now, 188 CS to 130, the solo, the kind of alone time that Ezra had to free farm did help him a little bit, but this is the thing about blue build Ezreal. If you're behind, it's very hard to get back. That Infinity Edge plus Phantom Dancer almost completed now. And it looks like Kennen is just about finished his Zhonya's Hourglass. Very close to that. As we see the Oracles coming out now for Sniper Worm. A great time to do it. And to start suffocating Ima Hero as they find them in their jungle 2v3. But I don't think Ima Hero wants to go for this. I mean, they might go for it anyway, I guess. And they split off. But I don't know if they see Kennen coming around the backside. He's gonna ult in, I think. Actually, he hasn't ulted in yet. Soul Seizer's still getting chased. Finally pops his ulti. Soul Seizers does go down though. And the numbers advantage just goes to Ima Hero. All 5 members were essentially there. And they trade 3 for 1. And while this is happening, they are split pushing bottom. Sato trying to get that tower down. Sniper Worm's not going to be able to hold this though. This mid tower will go down. So a real big blooper by the LoLdo faction right there. They did not need to trade like that. The split push, not really worth it. Sniper Worm just trying to stall them for as long as he can. And yeah, Ima Hero's too scared to dive. They know that the LoLdo faction is respawning. So they're just going to back off. But yeah, when you're ahead like this, regardless, unless it's to win the game, I feel that getting just an inner tower, not really worth all that gold that they just gave to Ima Hero. So they're going to have to think about their next move carefully. They don't want to get too overconfident. This game could still easily swing into Ima Hero's favor if they continue to get caught like that. Looking at the items now, Gragas finishing the Dean's Holy Grail. Frozen Heart finished for Ezreal, so that's going to be good for him, giving him a lot of armor for a J4 and for Ezreal. Unfortunately, that's not going to protect him that much from Gragas' burst damage. As interestingly enough, we see Caitlyn just going for the Last Whisper, I guess. Figured She's plenty far ahead. Might as well just do as much attack damage as possible. We'll finish that Phantom Dancer later. J4 coming around the side. Gonna... Oh, it looked like he tried to EQ in and he missed it. I'm not sure what that was. He might have just been trying to poke though. The next team fight's gonna be very, very telling though. The next team fight's gonna be potentially either a bunch of towers or a Baron. As we see the general recognizing that they are pretty good position to fight in this area. There are not a whole lot of there's no tower for Ima Hero to hug. And Ezreal is so dead. Those crits plus all that armor pen. Just not a good place right there. And that's why people don't like to deal with Zac. That long range engage makes it very, very difficult. And Tarek chose to be stingy with his flash and he paid for it. As we see the general jumping in again, his passive must be up if he's doing that. As the turret does go down, Ima Hero immediately backing up a little bit. They do not want to get caught out in another bad exchange. But yeah, now an exposed inhibitor. That's basically going to force Ima Hero into an all or nothing situation at this point. The gold lead is at about 10k. And Baron is on the table. The other inner turrets are the only... In fact, the bottom inhibitor turret's on the table now. I forgot that Sato pushed that all the way in now, so that's the only turret left in the bottom. So there's just a lot of objectives that are open now. And I'm guessing that if Ima Hero can't stand at their inhibitor, the game just might be over. Behind this much in gold plus down the inhibitor, meaning that they can't leave their base, it's going to be very, very hard for them to do anything. Their best bet is going to be to try to get a pick on Ryze, since he has the least mobility out of all the damage dealers right now. And yeah, the trouble with Teleport Jarvan really coming into play. He has only his EQ to escape over walls and to get out. As we see a fight being forced again, the hook lands, Kennen ulti comes down, a very good fight for the LoLdo faction as Ima Hero just getting locked up, 4 for 1. Only Gragas manages to escape as the GGs are getting called. That they might be thinking about throwing in the towel, I'm not sure if there's going to be a surrender vote or not. But yeah, this inhibitor is definitely theirs. LoLdo faction really played their game plan out to perfection this time. Had a slight couple of hiccups in the beginning with the first blood and whatnot, but they were able to avoid the early Jarvan teleports and his ganks, and it allowed the jungler for the LoLdo faction, the general, to really get his farm on and to really exert his pressure. That in bottom lane just completely dominated Ima Hero. Sato and Sniper Worm really abusing that aggressive lane of Caitlyn and Thresh to its full potential. Like, as you can see right now, the only major item that Ezreal has is Spirit of the Lizard Elder. If you could even call that a major item, it is very, very cheap in terms of items overall. So yeah, they basically have no chance of fighting them straight up. And with the inhibitor down, they're probably going to either make a play for Baron or possibly push out the top. Top does have the only inner turret left, so we'll see. So yeah, taking a look at the goal count real quick as the team just kind of push out the lanes. We see that Caitlyn sitting on 12k to the 7.1 of Ezreal, so that tells the story right there. The junglers, kind of a big lead for the general at this point. They were even up until all the objectives started falling. As we see another engage at their blue. Kennen zoning out 3 people. Ezreal not even trying to kite, he just wants to run. he knows that it's not even really worth his time to try to kite. But yeah, another big team fight. Some 30-second death timers. We'll see whether the LoLdo faction chooses to go for Baron or they just want to end the game. They have their eyes set on the bottom turret. They don't have minions, so it's going to take them a little bit longer. But I think they should still be able to get it. Ima Hero has to contend with the super minions coming in from the middle. So yeah, this is definitely theirs. Still about 12 seconds left on the death timers, so they should be able to get this. And yeah, they will back out. Gragas Barrel's not doing Nathan's hot dogs to scare them off. Caitlyn throwing down the ace in the hole just because. Not really sure why he did that. And what a timely, what a great time to take that last inner turret. Keep in mind that when inhibitors are down, the opposing minions do get stronger and they will push the lanes out. So just good timing right there by the LoLdo faction as they do set their sights on the Baron. Ima Hero knows that this is their last chance to get anything going in this game. But because the general is at level 15 to Jarvan's level 13, his smite will beat him in a smite contest. So the only saving grace is that the general is at half. As Ryze gets initiated on, takes the lantern out, doesn't even have to burn his flash. The Gragas ulti comes down to spread them out. As they still continue onto the Baron, but they are split. Very bad decision right there. They needed to either all just focus on the Baron or just go for the fight, but because they split off, the gold difference just overwhelming Ima Hero, and Ezreal is probably caught out. Yeah, even if he keeps running down, he's going to run into Kennen anyway, and that is an ace. And that is most definitely going to be the game. Even if they don't end it, it's only going to be a matter of time. They're going to get the triple inhibitors down. We'll see. Oh, actually, no, they're just going to go and end the game. They have plenty of super minions and regular minions coming down. The GG's coming out. Ima Hero definitely had a chance in game 1, but this time the LoLdo faction left no doubt. Shut them out very nicely. 6-26 are the kills. As Ima Hero takes one last stand. But it is to no avail. The LoLdo faction GG's takes it 2-0.